Hello, hello. No, whatever we are doing is not liking it. Got a hell of a delay. I have an unsupported resolution. I should be 1280, 720. I don't know, it looks okay. It looks okay, doesn't it, guys? You know what, let's go with this for a little bit, see what happens. Right, okay, this is sort of an experiment, a test to see the validity, if there's any interest in live streams. I've had a cancellation with my lessons, so I thought, why not do a bit of live stream? Why not show what I'm working on at the moment? And let's go from there. With that inspiring introduction, let's have a look at some, well, we have a couple of options. We either have Justerin, which are these bulky dudes that need to block some things need to block some details. Or we can have a look at something brand spanking new. Primarch Marine. Now I'm more inclined to do the Justerin since this is just a test. Test the waters, see what's up. If you are watching live, please feel free to leave a chat because I'm not sure who is out there. I'm not sure if you can see anything. Feel free to share this because I haven't shared this at all yet. Oh, hi Vlad. Okay, Warrior Painting was Justerin. Okay, let's see what happens during this. Okay, I can see comments. Excellent. Ryo, okay. Let me know if the quality of the stream is good. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if there's anything weird or janky, or if there's anything unusual about this. Okay, so we're filling in the details on some Justerin that I'm painting for the hashtag Return to Istvan. What the hell? I'm sure if you're on any kind of social media, if you follow this, I mean, if you're watching this live alongside with me, you've probably seen the updates, the hashtag Return to Istvan 3. So this all started with a conversation in my local gaming group. We're talking about, wow, aren't the old gaming books great? Damn, I wish we were there right at the beginning so we can do the entire series. Well, what's stopping us? Why can't we go ahead and do it now? And that's how I was born. That's where this Return to Istvan hashtag nonsense all came about from. It's completely inclusive. I have to get that the right way around. Inclusive, so anybody can join. All you have to do is collect one of the original 3 legions from the first 3 books. So that's the Death Guard, Sons of Horus, or Emperor's Children. Hashtag all your work on social media with Return to Istvan, and we're using 2 S's, not the 1. And you can join in. You can join in the project. It's completely open to absolutely everybody. Okay, let's start blocking in some Justerin. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, if you want to say anything, feel free to hit me up. This is the space. So, yeah, the Warrior Painter, if you have any questions, if you want a bit of an impromptu lesson, now's the time. Okay, so I'm starting this off with Decayed Metal. Negro Gold. One of my favourite colour combinations. And Peridot. Good old Peridot. You know, I'm going to whip some silver in here as well for good luck. Some nice greasy contrast. Pop that in here now. Okay. Okie dokie. Right, so how is everybody this fine Sunday afternoon? As a cancellation of the lesson, so I thought, why not jump on? It's been a tumultuous year since I've been able to last live stream. Had a kid, had a child, and I didn't really want to do some live streaming with a screaming toddler in the background. So I let things calm down a little bit, and things are starting to return to normality somewhat. Considering there's like a full-blown race war happening at the moment, and the pandemic, and whatever happened to those killer hornets. They seem to have disappeared off the face of the earth. They're just biding their time, plotting their revenge. Yeah, 2020. It's been a horrific year so far. I mean, we've seen UFOs being revealed. We've almost had World War III. God knows how many. Have any celebrities died this year? That seemed to be the thing last year. A lot of celebrities were dying. Okay, we've got to find a less maudlin conversation. Okay, just staring. Who are the Just Starers? If you're new to Heresy, if you're new to this style of wargaming and painting, Just Staring are the inner circle of Horus's personal command. They are the elite of the elite. They are the personal bodyguard of Horus Lupercal during the time of the Horus Heresy. And they get these wonderful sculpts. The head of the Just Staring was Abaddon. That's how he got started. Rather famous figure during the Heresy. A rather famous figure in 40k. These guys are available via Forge World when Forge World reopens sometime soon, hopefully. And I've decided for my Istvan project. So Istvan 3 was really the, I guess, starting point of the Heresy. Now, I put that with a lot of asterisks. I put that with a lot of caveats, knowing that the events preceding that could be called, I guess they could be called the start of the Heresy proper, things like Prospero. But Istvan 3 for Horus was the start. When he didn't exactly lead his legions, but he instigated a cull of his own legionnaires, taking from the ranks those troopers or formations he feel like he couldn't depend upon. And they were sent to Istvan 3 in a subjugation campaign, and then virus bombed from orbit. And that was the start of everything. Now, this book was released in, I'm terrible at dates. I'm definitely going to get this date wrong. I want to say 2010-ish? Let's go with that. Sometime around that era. Written by Alan Bly. And it dealt with the Horus Heresy in a level of detail that we hadn't seen previously. It was a wonderful introduction to a new world with a new type of sculpt, where the proportions, where the sculpt was taken more like military scale models. So the detail's a lot finer. It was cast in resin where you could generate more detail. And I guess that's where the moniker, the Resin Master Race, comes from, because generally the models at the time were a much greater quality of sculpt than Games Workshop producing in their main line. Now again, lots of caveats, lots of opinions there. You could easily disagree with me that Games Workshop producing, I'm sure you're producing some really amazing sculpts GW Prime produced at the time. But I remember seeing Angron for the first time, just being blown away by that sculpt. Finally seeing Angron for the first time, the first Primarch we've seen, when these have just been figures of myth and legend before. Okay, excellent. Seems like this is going well, the stream. It's all coming together. You know what? I'm going to send out a signal. I'm going to share this. See if anybody else wants to join along with us. Where can I get a link? I think get some feedback. Okay. Sure, this is fascinating to all three watchers. Hello, three people. How are we all doing? What are we all working on this afternoon? And if this is even semi-successful, I'll do this regularly. So I will look to incorporate this into my working schedule during the week. And hopefully I could get more sophisticated in my use of live streaming. I can actually have host people come on, say hello, have a chat. Oh, that little legend symbol is awfully large. So let's, there you go. There you go, more room for the miniature, less room for me just screaming, little legend, little legend. I didn't include the post. Okay, riveting viewing. Okay, posting this up on Facebook. Let's share it to my personal news feed. Okay, if you're out there and you're on social media, post it up. Let's see if we can get a few painters on to join us. Okay, so I'm using Peridot Alchemy. You can see I'm mirroring the airbrush layer. So we have the highlight, and the Peridot is the lighter silver I want to use, so I can use Peridot straight off the bat. Then this plunges into the mid-tone, where I can use the slightly darker Necro Gold. Then the darkest point is Decayed Metal. I'm adding these one on top of another in very quick succession. Right on top of another, and before they dry, I can, if I'm quick enough, if I'm accurate enough, I can kind of blend them together at the same time. Yeah, how's your 2020 been so far? Because I know nationally, looking back at this, in the history books, this won't be the best year for most people. But I guess on an individual scale, I mean, some people may have bought a house, some people may have children. You'll all have individual accomplishments that you would have achieved. So how's your 2020 been? Hasn't been the best personally for me. It hasn't been the worst. It's been one of those things that I dread to complain about, considering what other people are going through, and just watching. I mean, my wife's a nurse, so watching what she's been doing, how dare I complain about sitting in the house painting miniatures for a living? But it hasn't been without challenges. Keeping a small business afloat, raising a small child who's going through a growth spurt, and he's got tonsillitis as well. So sorry if I haven't responded to any email messages. Sorry if I haven't been in touch with anybody who's got in contact with me. It's been a weird couple of days. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys really like you guys. I hope my 3 viewers out there enjoy the live stream. Because if it is popular, I'll start to introduce these back. I'll look to bring them back into the fold. But for now, they'll be completely free to view, completely free to watch. This is more of a tester. I knew I'd capture the eye. Warrior painting is good year. Batch painting sanguineous right now. 2020 has been rough. Sigh. Yeah. I think it's a lot like that for a lot of people. And Vlad, if you're watching, sign into YouTube so you can leave some comments. It's hard responding to comments when I'm painting at the same time. So post it up. I can see the YouTube comments, I think. I can only see 3 comments so far. But if you do have any comments or any questions, anything you want me to talk about, or anything you want to talk about, post it up. Otherwise, I feel like a serial killer talking to myself. Okay. I think I have that down. Right, okay, what next? In the artwork, I really like it when they do this. It's a nice little extra detail that I think is really befitting of Just Aaron. The brush I'm using is a Rosemary & Co. Klinsky Sable Series 8, or CR8. I looked this up earlier. The Series 8, it's hog hair, so I'm not really... I think this is the Series 22 or the Series 33. If you did want to buy one of these, I don't think it's the Series 8 like it's printed on the side of the brush. Okay, a bit of decayed metal right in the darkest areas. Trying to be as neat as I can with the airbrush layers. So this is the boring bit of the paint job. I'm just blocking in tones and blocking in colours. So you will end up eventually looking like this. That's my colour key. Right, okay. The bolter casing I want in an off gold, so I can mix in some negro gold and silver. It makes it look a little bit more interesting than just using pure silver, by adding that small amount of colour into it. Just gives it that extra little dimension, the extra little spike to your work, and it just helps break up all of the gold, all of the black, all of the silvers we'll be applying. Okay, negro gold, negro gold. As you see with my brushstroke, it's not too careful right now. It's more of a blocking in process. I didn't want to do anything too technically demanding initially on this live stream, just in case it didn't work out, just in case it was terrible quality. But as long as it's legible, as long as you can see it, as long as you can understand me, I'm going to chalk this up to a success. Okay, so I've added a pinch of decayed metal in here. Again, because there's so much silver, there's so much gold I'll be blocking in with this miniature, it's very easy to really not think about the color choices you're making. Even though we do have a lot of silver and metallics on here, we can still break it up. We can still make it look a lot more interesting by just adding that wrinkle, adding that extra surface, that extra unusual tone. Right, I think that's it for the golds on this Legionnaire. I want to do his breastplate with decayed metal. Excellent. Okay. Use green in the armor. Yes, I use a small amount of Incubi Darkness right at the very end as a filter layer. Again, you can build up the armor in I don't want to say prosaic, as if it's like a backhanded compliment or criticism of anybody else's work, but with the Sons of Horus, because their scheme is that washed out sea green, I wanted to incorporate that slightly into the Justerin. So that's the reason, after doing the black layers, adding that small twist, that small wrinkle again, that sets your work apart from anybody else's. I've added a small amount of Incubi Darkness just as a glaze layer right at the end. Okay, I need dark aluminium ideally, but pale burnt metal. Looks good. Hey, hiya Vlad. Yeah, they are coming along nicely. Got a few more to do. Got a few more of these guys to do. And I have a bunch of Reavers staring at me as well. I'm at the boring point of the paint job, the laborious bit, the bit where I normally put on a audio book and tune out. But I thought I'd try live streaming. How many people are we up to now? How many people do we have live watching? Can I tell? We have 8 people watching. Good God. Wow. Okay. Hello, everyone. If you are watching and you want to ask a question, or you just want to passively watch me from the dark, not saying anything, like a serial killer, that's fine. But if you do have any kind of social media, if you do me a favor and copy this link, post it up, tell people what's happening. Let's see if we can... Oh, and don't forget to smash that like button. I've heard other YouTubers say that. I feel like I should say it too. There's another phrase somebody used that I thought was really good. Scorpion kick. Yeah, scorpion kick that like button if you like what you see in front of you. Me blocking in, just staring. When we're going to see the Glorious Emperor's Children, not for a while yet. I haven't even previewed those on social media yet. It sounds pretentious, I know, saying that, but very rightly, when people see work I post up, there's the very valid expectation that you'll be seeing a tutorial on it soon. Unfortunately, the Emperor's Children, even though they are done, the video won't be in production for quite a while. So I don't want to tease people with, like, oh look, I got this coming up, and then 3-4 months down the line, release the video. So they are prepared a couple of months at the very least. I do have a few things that I do want to introduce to the Patreon first. Oh yeah, good time to plug myself. So if you want more of this kind of stuff, if you want to watch the full 4K resolution video tutorial masterclass on the Justarin, without all the waffling in between, it will be available on the Patreon this month, as well as a Sons of Horus I'm using the wrong brush. Sons of Horus masterclass. We'll be weathering an infantry, infantry marine. There'll be a skin tutorial, a skin recipe and application. There's something. Oh yeah, airbrushing 10. I think either 101 or 102. So this is a June exclusive, and we'll be leaving the Patreon at the end of the month. So that's what we got lined up. Good cue. Thank you very much for queuing me up there. Right, I think those are all the metallic details I want to do on him for the moment. Oh, hello. Yeah. So Cray Sheep, and ring the bell. Yeah. Oh, damn. You can see him out of practice. Yeah. Ring the bell to get notifications on this post, because YouTube, they have an algorithm, and sometimes even if you are subscribed, it doesn't leave you know that the person's gone live or has a video up. Thank you very much, Cray Sheep. I'm sure I know you. Who are you, Cray Sheep? I can only see your moniker at the moment. Craig Voss, are these guys for your Return to Istvan? Yes, they are. Yeah, these are for my personal collection. For my Return to Istvan, my Justarin Heavy Sons of Horus Traitor Army. I really hit jackpot with that selection. It's been one of those armies, I'm sure, ever since day dot, we've all wanted to do a Sons of Horus Traitor Force. We've all wanted to take command of Abaddon or Horus, the principal antagonist of the storyline, and just wreck some face. At the time when the Heresy came out, a lot of people were collecting Sons of Horus, and being the contrarian that I am, I decided to go for Blood Angels, because I knew it would take me a few years to build up the actual miniatures, the frontline troops, that when Sanguinius was released, I can just go straight into the battlefield with him. How many do you have to paint? I only have, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the moment, but I'll be needing around 15. They won't all go in the list, but I'll need around 15 to play scenarios and things like that. And I also want to develop a command squad for them as well. Right. Okay, I need a darker silver. Now. Hey, how are you doing, David? Yeah, I'm well, thank you. I'm well. I had a cancellation in my teaching schedule, so I thought I'd jump on, fire up the live stream, see if it still worked, see if I can still do this, and hopefully, I mean, this is going really well. This is going a lot better than I thought it would. Introducing more live streaming going forward. Okay, what colour is this? Black? Yeah, Negro. Black from Vallejo Air colour. This is from the metallic range. Okay. So you can see I'm not bothering trying to blend these two together. I'm just putting them right smack dab up against one another. It's important that you have a really good sharp brush for this to get maximum control. Okay, let's add the black in here, and before it dries, I can take some of the pale burnt metal and add a highlight on the side. Look at that. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Oh, sorry if you hear a screaming baby in the background. David, really love the new Death Guard video you released. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that series, it's designed for very brief introductions into painting the legions. They aren't the masterclasses that run alongside them, but my hope is once I do every single legion, so all 18 to 20 legions, I'll go back and I'll show you how to elevate that work. So exactly the same miniatures, what are the extra steps you can take to develop them into more centerpiece miniatures, into better looking versions of themselves. So that was the intention. They are quicker videos with PDF support. They are designed to be simpler recipes in nature to get you thinking about the sort of color recipes you want to use and the sort of colors that you want to bring into your miniatures. Yep, and each one of those will have a free PDF available on the website. So that's Little Legend Studio website.com. Still feels weird saying that. With a full 4K video on the Patreon, if you so choose to sign up. Live streams are excellent, especially if you have a scheduled on a regular basis. Yeah, that's the problem I found before with these things sticking to a schedule. I felt if I put a marker down, there was almost like a dread during the week that, okay, I had to be in a certain place at a certain time. And if something came up, for example, I needed to go out, or if the internet was down, I wouldn't want to get a reputation for not turning up on time. So, for example, yes, I had to cancel a couple of lessons because my boy turns out he had tonsillitis. If I'd scheduled in a live stream for that time, I'd be letting down how many people are watching. I'd be 10! Oh my god. Okay, I'd be letting down tens of people. Which I don't mean to be flippant about at all, because these things work on regularity. Live streams especially, they thrive on regularity. I'm not sure how devoted I can be to that sort of schedule. So those are my lines of thinking, and actually thinking ahead of time, planning ahead of time. Those are my thoughts on the subjects. If I can get it working, yeah, 100%. But Sundays seem to be quite a nice time around this time, where there's a lot of people available, a lot of people who are willing to kind of like turn up and watch the videos. Even if you're not watching it live, I'll keep this up. You can watch it afterwards. If you do have any questions, feel free to fire them over to me. I'll do my best to get in contact with you. Oh, and that's another reason why I don't particularly like live streaming. It's because I have a toddler. Well, not exactly a toddler. He's 2 in September. So every now and again, you'll just hear this shriek in the background. I'm not sure whether he's tumbling over or shrieking in joy. And who likes watching live streams of screaming toddlers? Nobody, that's who. Oh yeah, and his mother telling him off. So those are the things you'll be hearing in the background. But for the odd session, I mean, if people do like them, I will try and work it in some manner, some form. Because I do like the live streams. They're a lot more laid back. No one here is edited. The video quality is anywhere near as good as the like full-blown productions. I would like to see if I could introduce people on here as well. I have like some called like video call-in show. Yeah, have people turn up, ask questions, maybe give me an earful. I don't know, just full on criticize me. Just give me a full-blown rant blasted into my ears. There's a lot of that going on at the moment. Oh, there you go, screaming baby. Yeah, there's a lot of that at the moment, just lots of screaming rants. Perhaps I could corner the market on that. Or are there already channels doing that? Maybe I should look out for on crazy screaming rants. Okay, let's have a look. Keith, when will the Wolves one be released? I haven't even filmed it yet. The Wolves have not been done whatsoever, so I'll need to film it and produce it and then release it. So at least 1 month to 2 months before they come out, alongside the Blood Angels, alongside who else have I got? Alpha Legion. Who else isn't there? Alpha Legion, Thousand Suns will be up soon. Raven Guard I haven't done. Any other legions? Oh, Sons of Horus, but we'll have a masterclass on that pretty soon. Pinks are starting to dry up now. So not for at least for a couple of months, Keith. Cray Sheep, you could do community posts at 1,000 subs. Yes, yeah, I think that's so. Before I could stream, I could live stream whatever. But I'm fortunate enough that I'm at 1,000 subs, 1,100 subs. So I was able to do this. I'm not really that sophisticated when using YouTube. So any hints, any tricks that I'm missing, please let me know. Like I don't really know what a community post is. So I just post a few hours earlier and you're going live. Oh, okay, well you know for sure. Okay, would that be of interest to people if I post up something like a couple of hours in advance so you get ready? I think that would be a nice compromise because I would like to maybe do some live streaming in the evenings. But again, it's that working it into my schedule and making sure I'm planned ahead and posting it up. That's the problem I have with this. It's the scheduling side of things. But that would be a really, really nice compromise if I knew because I knew a couple of hours before today that I'd be available and I could do some live streaming. So I will look into that. Thank you very much for the tip there. Right, okay. Vladimir, regarding the Sons of Horus, you're going to do more demonic versions of Horus, or are you going to keep him looking more human? So the army I'm intending to create is based primarily around Istvan 3. And there is talk in our gaming group of doing Istvan 5, and then I think every book from then on. So this is Horus very early on in the heresy, so I am planning on doing a slight repose to him to make him more of like a gaming piece rather than the statuesque pose he's in from Forge World. So he is very much more of a general at this point. He hasn't quite got the demonic influence that later infests him. My hope is Forge World do another alternate version of Horus where he is more pumped up on demon juice. We can see more of a demonic version like the Adrian Smith art. But no, for my own army, it's a slightly more grounded Horus. Somebody who hasn't quite been enslaved by the powers that be yet. I've already got a mock-up of him, of the conversion. Can't wait to go ahead and do and produce a full tutorial series on him. It'll be another masterclass, so it'll be the second Horus masterclass. But I'll make sure I'll include all the sculpting aspects of him. So it'll be a sculpting tutorial as well alongside it. But that won't be produced till Christmas at the very earliest. And that's if nothing else happens. So if an asteroid doesn't hit us in the meantime, or if World War III breaks out. Right, I got control miniature here, so I've blocked this guy in. This is something I did earlier. Okay, so we have gold here. For the gold, I'm using if you're coming in late, decayed metal, black gold, negro gold, Peridot alchemy, and a touch of silver, all from scale 75. Apart from the gold, which is from the Vallejo Air range. And I'm wet blending these metallics together. So I'm not worried overly much about the blend initially. I'm just kind of like popping the paint next to one another. And before the paint dries, I can knock off excess moisture and excess paint from my brush. I can help kind of blend them together. I can smooth them together on the miniature. And the great thing with doing this, it's quite an easy introduction into into wet blending, because metallics are a lot more forgiving on the eye because the way the reflections work off the metallic pigment. So if you were looking at an introduction into wet blending, try doing the metallics first. Well, that would be my advice at the very least. Did anybody have any painting questions I can help with at all? Or you guys just kind of like shooting the breeze? What are you all up to this weekend? Painting anything good? Painting anything nice? Keep you out of trouble? getting into trouble. Hold up my breath for this bit because I really do not want it going over the red. Oof. Okay, we have a few. Okay, hopefully we get a seconded version of the Demon Primarchs from 30k and Forge. Yeah, 100%. David Cohen. They confirmed that they plan to do that with Demon Primarchs. Yeah, I had a conversation with. They used to be called trolls before the negative connotation took over, but the guys you'd phone up and at customer support, Games Workshop, the trolls. And I got chatting to the guy behind the guy who's helping me with my complaint. And he's talking about how he'd love to see the Adrian Smith artwork as a diorama. So imagine that, the Emperor squaring off against Horus as a whole diorama, as a whole scene. I wouldn't care if it cost upward of £500. I would buy multiple versions of that set. Dead Sanguinius and all. So hopefully, I mean, if dreams do come true, how about that for a set? Right, okay, Craze Sheep, not Crazy Sheep, I'm sorry. Which metallics are you using? So I'm using Negro Gold, Decayed Metal, Peridot Alchemy, Black and Silver. And they do the job. They do the job. Primarily from Scale 75. I really love the Scale 75 metallic set. They run really, really smoothly. Blend very nicely. I could do all sorts of weird tricks with them, like glazing metallics. It's a technique I don't see used that often. Okay, I need a bit more. Yep, I'm still in focus, I'm still in camera. This has been a really good session. I haven't strayed off screen once. Hopefully it hasn't gone blurry. I've got to hang out with some people I haven't talked to in a long, long time, which is really nice. So, trip down memory lane, because when I first started the Patreon, I used to do these every couple of weeks. But again, having that lodestone in my schedule always it never sat right with me. I always dreaded coming into these things, which is a weird sensation. It's a weird feeling because all I got to do was just hang around and paint. I guess there's the expectation, like if something went wrong, I wasn't able to cover my tracks. Because when I film, there's no real pressure on me. If something messes up, if something goes seriously wrong, well, I don't need to follow up with an entire video tutorial. I could just kind of scrap the footage and move on and pretend it never happened. Yeah, performing live. I guess it's not like performing with tigers or anything. You guys aren't going to eat me, I hope. Okay, that's that. Decayed metal on the inside. Okay, let's just let's have a look, see if there's any questions. Vladimir, I really can't wait for our lesson, Teach. Yeah, next week, really looking forward to it. One though, Teach, how did your wife react towards the words I taught you? I use it regularly, but she doesn't know what I mean. Okay, unpacking. Oh, wow, you moved to a new house. Oh, cool. Trying to get a studio set up. IKEA. Oh, God, I guess you can't go to IKEA at the moment because of COVID-19 and because of the queues. But yeah, IKEA was an absolute godsend for me for setting up my own studio. Because I'm quite big, I'm 6'4". Getting a desk that I didn't feel like I was bending over too much. So I bought like this modular, how do you describe it? Modular shelves that you just you pin to the wall, you drill to the wall. So that this is at the perfect height for me not to be bending over constantly, not to feel like I got a crick in my back. So I do spend at least 4 to 5 hours per day painting, and being in a natural position that could really mess you back. I mean, there's a few painters out there who really hurt themselves doing that, and I didn't want that for me. So take care of your back. Who says this isn't physically straining? Right, the eye. Okay, I want a slightly darker eye. Because the red is quite light surrounding it, I want to contrast this with the dark eye. So this is mainly decayed metal. I'll try to be as neat as I possibly can, because I do not want this messing up. Okay. Sorry, you're not going to hear from me for a second while I hold my breath. Speaking about messing up, let's see how close we could get this. Shall we? Let's see how close we can get this. Okay, zoom in right the way in. Okay, let's ramp up the tension. Haha, look at that. Look at that. Pro right here. Did I get it on camera? It's a bit of a delay, so I'm not sure if I had that on camera. Hope I did. Yeah. Look at that. Pro in camera, in focus. Perfect first time. Let's paint some eyes, shall we? Let's push our luck. Okay, I think that's all the metallics for this guy. Pop them off to the side. Let's do something fun. Let's do this guy. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Oh, thank you very much, Craig. Yeah, it's been fun catch up and like retreading all paths. Again, this is a test, so the actual painting side of things, like I don't feel like I'm really demonstrating anything to you guys today. This is to make sure that the stream went smoothly. It all went up okay. But I'll make sure. So there's a couple of opinions up on the Patreon at the moment, actually. What you'd like to see covered in the live streams. We have a couple of options. We have a Space Hulk set, complete Space Hulk set, that I was going to paint up with nothing but a brush to show you how to generate atmosphere and how to refine your brush work. And I've been accused many times of having an over-reliance on my airbrush. If you have a tool, use it, but okay, I'm willing to take that criticism. If you guys want to see a pure brush tutorial, I can certainly do that. So that's option 1, option A. Option B, B2, or 2B, is a Primarch Marine for a custom, well, it's not a custom chapter, it's Consecrators. So these guys are my Have My Cake and Eat It Too collection, where it's a soft movement from the Heresy into 40k aesthetics. So it has a Volkite, he has Mark III, Mark II shoulder pads, Mark III helmet. The Consecrators are part of the First Legion of the Dark Angels, and they're known for using ancient technology. So I figured that these guys are the inheritors of all that gnarly Terran tech that the Dark Angels use to exterminate races that we never hear about. So that's what the other options. So lots of black, lots of red, lots of metallics, or maybe non-metallics. I haven't quite settled on what to do for that. We could do something other. So we could do something really out of the wheelhouse. Something like this, maybe. A bust, a 3D printed bust that anybody could download, anybody could buy, and it could be like a paint along for that. Of course, the optional extra, which is always available, is other. So if you have a suggestion, if something strikes a chord, if there's a new miniature that comes out and you want to see done in a live stream, well, post it up. Let me know what you'd like to see. But that's my primary line of thinking right now, because Space Hulk I've always wanted to paint my own set. Never found the time, so why not do a paint along? With that, Gene Stealers, the gorgeous sculpts, Alex Hedstrom sculpts, I believe they are, plastic ones, and showing you how to generate a bit of atmosphere in that work. Oh. There you go, that's better. So what would you like to see? What would you guys like to see? Are you going to go black or green with your Reaver? I'm going green because the so Sons of Horus Reavers, they had a formation known as the Catalan Reavers, Catulan Reavers, who were black and red like the Justerin. Now the army I'm collecting is primarily Justerin, so there will be a lot of black and red anyway. And I've just perfected Sons of Horus scheme that I don't want to see go to waste. So my Reavers... Oh, I've slipped. Thanks, Keith. My Reavers will be in green and black. And being a Blood Angel player, I've never really looked at the shooting options available to the legions. Seekers, they're quite good, aren't they? And they fit. It's so painfully perfect how they fit in with my force, which are all about seek and destroy upper legion command. I don't quite know how to fit them in to my Force org chart because we are only collecting 1500 points Centurion. And Centurion is an attempt to make games feel more like second edition games, where you couldn't really afford all the toys you wanted to bring. So it's mainly infantry with the odd dreadnought thrown in here and then, maybe a rhino. With the Justerin, they're very expensive, and Abaddon's very expensive. I don't think I quite have the points available to introduce Seekers into the army, which I think is a good thing for balance more than anything else. But we've all promised ourselves 1500 points only. Ed, if you're watching this back, I'm right there with you, pal. I think I'll go over that significantly and just pare it back for scenarios. So I would like to collect a really big, chunky 20-man unit, infantry, just bolter pigs. I would like to get a few more Reaver squads because they are so versatile. I had no idea they were so versatile in the rules. They could be choppy, they could be killy, they could be close combaty. Why do people complain about them? They're great. So that's a very long answer to your question. David, already have equipment and desk. I'll send you pics. Yes, please. Yeah, let's see it. I printed a bust on my printer as my test run. Oh, brilliant. Okay, I think it is a lot of people's first test run mini. So that might be quite a fun project just to have. And I aim to get it done in 2 to 3 sessions, so 2 to 3 hours. So it'd be a really nice, quick reintroduction into the streaming services proper. Full size you'd like to see. I do have a warlord, a full size warlord that I bought for a ridiculous price, all genuine, which surprised the hell out of me for the price I got it for. I haven't done anything with it. So if you'd like to see a full size Titan done on the stream, let me know. If it's popular enough, I'll do it. Okay, who else? Paint 40k Mortarion on the stream. Yeah, that could be an option. I'm not the greatest fan of the 40k Primarchs, the sculpts. I think they suffer in comparison to the 30k compatriots, which I'm a lot more fascinated with as far as detailing and characterization. I'm actually dedicating a few streams to it. It's quite a large, bulky, and gainly model as well. When I saw it, didn't set my tuning fork off. You know, when you see a miniature and it sets off that special tuning fork in that special area, special place. Didn't set me off. What the hell were we talking about? Right, Vlad. I'd like to see you revisit Conrad Kurz. Oh, okay. There's no video tutorial for him at the moment. There's a PDF, but there's no video tutorial, so that is very much a possibility. And I do believe I do have a sculpt around here somewhere. I'm sure I do. So it feels like I painted Conrad Kurz at least once a year around Halloween. I dare say I'll get another commission for it by then, and there'll be another video tutorial up. there'll be one video tutorial, full 4K masterclass series for Curse come, sorry, delicate bit, to come Halloween. Either that or Fabius Bile. Okay, you see how the curve of the shoulder pad makes this area darker. So to contrast that, I can add some silver into the mixture, and look at that. You can really see the eye pop out now. Okay. Now, technically, this wouldn't really happen with the light because the light would follow the curve. But since we're painting the miniature, I want to exaggerate a few details. So that's the reason why I'm inverting the color scheme here. So where it's dark, or where it is dark on the red, I'm inverting it for contrast. So that was a little bit naughty doing that. It's not the most technically accurate, especially in a game that prides itself, or modelers that pride themselves on, I guess, military accuracy. That was not accurate whatsoever. Okay, the silvers and the golds, I'm being quite limited with them. I'm not really developing them that much right now. The oil stage, the next stage, that's where you'll start to see a deepening of the tones, adding complexity, and just adding more nuance to them. So this, up to this stage, we've just done airbrushing work, and I'm blocking in the details before I hit it with a gloss varnish all over. As you can see from the miniature, the black looks quite grey at the moment. There's a reason for that. As soon as I add the gloss varnish over the top, it's going to homogenize things. It will make the black appear darker, and we'll lose a lot of that contrast. So it is important to keep it quite strong at this stage before the gloss varnish, because when we, by golly, when you apply the gloss varnish on top, we'll lose a lot of those transitions. And that's okay. That's the reason why we build it up so strong at this point. Now, if you do want to learn more about this, I am filming one of these miniatures in full 4K. There'll be a full masterclass tutorial available by the end of the month on Justarian and Sons of Horus. So the full-blown Sons of Horus masterclass is coming this month to Patreon under $15 pledge, and that gives you access to every single video tutorial and live stream we've done up until this point, and that's either 3 or 4 years worth of content, all for the price of a bad pizza. So okay, that's enough self-promotion. Have to slip it in there every now and again, let people know what they're missing. Yeah, I think it comes up to 4 years this month. That's just flown by. And looking back at some of the older stuff, the older videos, I do cringe a little bit because the pattern wasn't set. It was all just freewheeling madness at that point. I was still trying to settle into a schedule, into like a working. I mean, even the language we use to talk about miniature painting is weird. Because how do you describe the thinness of a paint? There's the old adage of adding it thinner into it to make it look like semi-skim milk. I'm sure you are all rolling your eyes at that because you've heard that so many times, you've tried it, doesn't work. So trying to evolve the language of miniature painting, because it's very much a visual medium, but when you are trying to produce PDF tutorials, when you're trying to produce concise tutorials that detail precise mixtures, it's been really difficult evolving that to the point where it's clear and concise and easily read and understood and easily, I guess, copied, because that's the whole point of the tutorials. I don't want you to copy my style. It's not there for me to show off. It's there to produce guides for you to follow along, to discard information that you disagree with and take in certain aspects that you do, which is really edifying to see, especially the artists it's developed over the years. I mean, the work I'm seeing some people produce when they first turned up to where they are now. It's crazy how quickly people pick up on these things. Right. Okay. Any more questions? I haven't looked at the. Okay. I'll paint along with. Oh, thank you very much, David. Yeah. Hell yeah. What would you like to paint along beside me? The full size warlord. I'll make sure there's tons of freehand on there. You'll have to freehand every single section alongside me. Johan, yo, how you doing? How you doing, Johan? How you doing, bro? I don't think I've ever referred to you as bro before. I don't think I ever will again. I don't think I've even used that word in my life before. Bro, hey bro. Perhaps I should bring it more into my vernacular. Hey bro, this is how you paint a backpack, bro. I could launch a podcast. Bro Hammer. 50,000. So these are the sort of weird conversations that you have internally in a monologue as a commission painter. So I spend a lot of time alone, just in my own head. Thank goodness for podcasts. Thank goodness for crappy movies on Amazon. Thank goodness for any form of media entertainment that stops you thinking along the lines of, I should start a new podcast called Bro Hammer and call everybody bro on it. Let's got the metal done on this guy. After this guy, we have one more. So if you do have any burning questions, if you have any conversations, if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see on the paint-alongs, or if you have any ideas for content via the Patreon, I'm always looking for suggestions from people. Because if it was up to me, I would be painting nothing but blood angels and busts all day long. If you like any busts, please let me know. I'd like to include more of that style of painting on the Patreon, because I know it's very Space Marine centric. Lots and lots of power armor on there. So in order to break up the power armor, break up the just deluge of legions on there, let me know if anything piques your interest. Okay, we want to introduce another color to the top here, something that's more coppery in nature. It's a scale 75 to a colour called Old Copper. Do I want Old Copper or Pure Copper? What do you guys think? Pure Copper or Old Copper? I'll leave these up for a couple of seconds. I'll read your comments as you decide. Johan's responding, I'm fine, bro. Oh, wonderful. Right, Warrior Painter, please don't. Yeah, it's a short-lived thing. Be better, Vlad. I'd be better than you asking me in our lessons, do I sleep upside down? Please don't sleep upside down. I'm sure that's terrifically bad for your circulation. Okay, I'd love to see you paint an orc. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, let's paint orcs. Let's do orcs. Okay, Old Copper. We have our first suggestion, Old Copper. So I'm going to load that up onto the surface. And if there's no rebuttals, Old Copper it will be. You have 30 seconds before I dive in. Oh, Warrior Painter says, oh, Pure Copper. Okay, we have another horse in the race. Pure Copper. So I'm going to pop in this axe as you fight it out amongst yourselves in the comments section, whether it'll be Pure Copper or Old Copper. Oh, this black is still okay now. We have 1-for-1 so far. Pure versus old. Who's going to win? Purity or age? Age or youth? Okay, we get a bit of decayed metal in here. Here, it's deadlock. Absolute deadlock. Who's going to break it? The very next person who posts that, pure or old, will break the deadlock. I'll go with that. I'm not going to look up until I've done all the metallic, all the silver on this dude. be too thick. Okay, old. Make them look more battle hardened. Okay, old it is. Old's won it. Okay, old. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna lose some subscribers here. I'm gonna lose some patrons doing this. I'm gonna lose some followers. I'm gonna use both. So I've applied the old copper on the top. I can use pure copper through the center, and look at that. So I've added a highlight and a shadow all at the same time. Oh, that was cheeky. That was, yeah. I could feel people's ire raised at that. That's the illusion of choice right there. Yeah, that's really nice. So when you look at him with other characters, that copper really pops out. Cool. Hello, Alice. How are we doing? Good afternoon. I have one more just there, and I need to block the metallics in. So if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to raise right now as a conversation piece, act now or forever hold your peace. Or until I talk to you next. Okay, decayed metal. So this stream has been a test to see whether I can still do this and to see whether there'd be any interest. How many people do we have watching now? We have 18 people. Sugar. Okay, yeah, there's definitely interest in it then. Hi everyone, how are we all doing? If you haven't commented so far, please do. Let's see how many people are out there. Let's see how many weird stalkers I have out there existing in the universe. I want to comment something creepy. Post something creepy in the comments. I mean, this is just asking for trouble, right? So red flag to bull. I'm asking for creepy comments in the YouTube comment section. Right, okay, let's see what crazy things you guys can come up with. Craig, are you using only scale 75 metallic paint? Ooh, that's creepy. Ooh. No. No, I'm using Vallejo air paints as well. So before I started using the scale 75 stuff, I used these nearly exclusively for my metallics because the pigmentation on the metallic pigment is ground much, much finer. Since then, I've come across the scale 75, and I tend to use a variance of scale 75 paints and the Vallejo air and this stuff, metal color. This stuff is phenomenal through an airbrush. It's slightly trickier to use through just using it with a brush because of the pigmentation. It feels very watery. So you need to allow it to dry a little bit before applying it to the surface of your miniature, or you just need a piece of paper beside you to knock off excess moisture. So those are the metallics I enjoy using the most. Every now and again, I'll use a metallic shifting paint from Green Stuff World. I used the Green Stuff World because they were the first I saw commercially available in our hobby. But I would love to try the Vallejo stuff. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've heard nothing but good things about that paint set. So those are the paints you are seeing in front of you right now. Hey, how are you doing, Sullivan? Hello, how are we doing? How's your Jakarta coming along? I believe that's how it's pronounced. How's your Khan coming along? How's the sculpt work going on it? Ellis, I decided today to make it Justera in the core of the army of Dark Compliance. Oh, fantastic! Any ideas for colour schemes? Have you started working them yet? Anything that you have, I'd love to see. I'm really a dog when it comes to that sort of stuff. I love seeing people's hobby. Because you can tell the difference between a genuine hobbyist, somebody who's doing it for love, like a paint job for love, even over some more technically accomplished works that just don't have that soul. They have that missing quality to them. Spikes. Spikes, spikes, spikes. Lots and lots of spikes. I wonder how long it will be before I snap one of those, picking it up for a game. Keith, how long did it take you before you broke off the spikes from your Justerin? I don't feel like you're a real Sons of Horus player until at least you have one of these axes break off, or one of the spikes come away in your hand. Great miniatures, but not the most practical. Okay. Right. So you can see the color combination I've used for the sort of bronze. It's decayed metal, and I'm following the lines of the sculpt that I've established with the pre-shading layer. So we have shadow, shadow, and it follows with decayed metal, decayed metal, decayed metal, and through the central line, the highlight, I've added peridot alchemy. So let's do the same for this one and talk about it in a little bit more detail. Okay, because you are here to pick up painting tips, you're not here to listen to my inane witticisms. So alongside either side, I've added decayed metal. Now to add a bit of a mid-tone, I can take some of my Negro Gold, and notice the brushstroke is brushing it up towards the shadow to help them overlap, to help them blend together slightly. And then we take oh gosh, what's this called? We take Peridot Alchemy on the top layer, and through the center. I could do the same process where I'm kind of feathering the two together. Wet blending metallics 101. Now, wet blending metallics is slightly more forgiving than wet blending other colors because of the way the pigmentation is, because of the way the metallic pigment kind of reflects light outwards around it. So if you did want a easy introduction into wet blending, try it with metallics first, and try and put it alongside a pre-shade layer where you're able to establish light and shadow sitting next to one another. Right, okay, any more comments? Good to see the live streams there. Yep, through our conversation, I put it out on Patreon if people were interested with it. Yeah, they did seem like there was genuine interest to reintroduce these back. So let's hope. I mean, this has gone remarkably well to have the amount of people watching it that we have. For a test stream that I'm just messing around with, really. I don't think there's much in the way of a teachable moment here, unless you haven't wet blended metallics before. But I would like these to be slightly more structured in what I'd like to teach, so they'd be on specific subjects. I did post it up earlier, or I did say earlier, what would you guys like to see a series on? We have Space Hulk, primarily brushwork, or all brushwork Space Hulk. We have a 40k Marine for the upcoming 40k. David did suggest that we do a Warlord Titan, like a full-blown Warlord Titan on the stream. Not sure how well that would go down. Or we can do other. So any suggestions thrown out to the crowd. Any suggestions that you have that we can introduce. Anything. Conrad Kurz was mentioned. It'll be whichever miniatures I really have lying around at the moment. Since I don't have access, or many of us don't have access to game structure products right now. Which isn't a bad thing. It makes you appreciate what you have, and it makes you see the pile. It makes you see how big of an addict you really are. Okay. So again, I'm going along with the pre-shading lines that I've established with the top layer. Now for the eye, I'll be inverting that for contrast. but for the banding, the metallic banding around it, I'll be following that line. And you may ask, how do you know where to put shadows and highlights with the pre-shading stage? Well, part of it comes from a zenithal highlighting principle. Some of it comes from understanding how light and shadow interact on different surfaces. But I guess more straightforwardly, I looked at the Forgewell artwork from the inside of the books, and they offer some amazing color palettes there, so you can get some really nice ideas of where to add shadow and highlight corresponding to the artwork that they've produced. And I've kind of based my style from that, on that, developing them along more realistic lines, even though I'm completely debunking that and defuncting that by inverting the highlights on the eye. Okay, right, I'm going to go silent for a couple of seconds because I need to do something detailed. So apologies if you just going to sit there in silence watching a dude paint a very thin line. Oh, praying it doesn't mess it up. I've already messed up slightly under here. I wonder if the camera picks that up. I hope it doesn't. Oh, sorry if you hear a screaming baby in the background. That is part of the reasons why I stopped the streams. Because this is up now forever and all time on YouTube. I won't take this down. This will be available to view whenever, however, you choose to watch it. As just I guess a reintroduction into this, a soft reboot of the streams. It's been really nice catching up with you guys. Really nice catching up with some old faces I haven't seen for a while. New faces I talk to nearly every day. It's been a really nice communal experience where nobody's argued or stressed out or tried to fight each other in the comments. A safe place of refuge. How wonderful is that? Before we all go out, get to some naughty business. Okay. But what are we all up to tonight? We painting anything interesting? Doing anything interesting with our time, our lives? I'll probably be watching Grey's Anatomy with my wife. She's got me hooked on that goddamn show. I can't take away now. It's like methadone. This is my life become now. Grey's Anatomy, and in bed by 10. What on earth have I become? Right, let's see if there's any comments. Cultist, Ellis. Quite well, thanks. Working on Malkador Annihilator and White Scars. Nice. Cultists will be made from Chaos Cultists, so I'll be using a few different shades of brown to represent the rags. Pop some orange in there as well for contrast. So brown, dark browns, all very well and good. You can spice things up with a bit of orange, and especially if you use like a lighter skin tone in there as well. Just for contrast. It's surprising how quickly you can add really nice differentiation between these rags with just those few spikes of colour. Okay, old copper again. And new copper. Okay, any more comments? Curse would be awesome. Yep, okay, Curse looks popular. Why don't you like using wet palette with your metallic paints? I don't like running the risk of the metallic pigment getting into the sponge underneath, and because once it's in the sponge, you have to throw it away, or I find I have to throw it away. It just ruins the entire thing, and I find that the metallic pigment spreads out. I don't have the control I do with a dry palette. They dry up a lot quicker, they aren't as usable for anywhere near as long, but I do get the control and the coverage that I'm looking for. Can you hear that screaming child in the background, by the way? I'm curious whether it's just like in my head, and I'll try and talk louder when he's screaming to see if I can mask it. I messed that bit up. So that's the reason why I don't like using metallic paints with the wet palette. because I find the pigment kind of gets bloated with water and it just blows it out. But the Redgrass games, wet palette, they come with 2 little dry palettes alongside it, which is really, I can't tell you how useful it is for this sort of work. Or sometimes you'll have a paint, if it's left there overnight, it kind of gets blown out by water anyway. If you pop it on this dry palette for a couple of seconds and let the water evaporate slightly, you can recover the paint. So that's why. That's why. Looking forward to the Kingdom Death stuff, Johan? I mean, I know we talk about this nearly every time we see each other, but I cannot goddamn wait to get my hands on some of those kits, even though I wasn't a backer. I wanted to buy them second hand off eBay, some shifty eBay seller. I'm missing something, but I'm not sure what. The Eye of Horus, of course. Okay, we are rapidly coming up to time, so if you have any questions... I've just messed that up. This is what I get for talking. I'm trying to paint at the same time. Yeah, any questions? I spend a couple of minutes at the end if you like answering questions. If you have any. I'm going to go silent for a couple of seconds while I just pop this in. I have to redo the center of the eyes because I've messed up on a couple of them. And weathering can't fix that. That's just a pure and honest to goodness mistake. Okay. Pop this in. Yeah, this live stream has gone surprisingly well. I mean, the amount of people that's been on is I don't think we had this many in our heyday, let alone a stream that just kind of got thrown together at the last minute. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the ride, because I know that sometimes watching these sort of streams, they're not the most entertaining of things in the world. Some of them can be quite unstructured. You're spending more of your time just watching somebody look for a paint rather than actually painting. I try not to do that. I try to be as, I guess, funny as I can. It was engaging. I need another axe. So I hope you've enjoyed it anywhere near as much as I've enjoyed hosting this. Okay, again, I'm not being too I'm not too concerned about the actual colors right now. I just need a base layer before I blast them with oils and create a masterpiece. If you've never used oils before, consider it. They do some amazing things to the miniatures. Okay, so going forward from here, if you're onto Patreon and you're not going to watch the videos, we will be adding a gloss varnish over the miniatures. And this will make the paint a lot more cohesive, a lot more predictable in where it'll flow on the miniatures. And then I'll be applying an oil paint in between the crevices to help define the lines of the miniature, the lines of the sculpt. And I will also then be modulating the armor marks. So a beautiful thing you could do with oil paints is actually add tiny little dots, and you can help bleed them out, you can help restrain them, you can help develop the black armor through using oil paints. If you've never used oils before, highly consider it. It's a lot easier to do than using just regular old acrylic paints where it dries in a couple of seconds. With this, you can work for about a week afterwards. Once the tassels, once the red has been popped in, that's when I'll apply the oils. I'll be applying the pin wash into the recesses to help define the armor marks, and then I'll be applying a thicker consistency of paint called a stain on the metallics. And I'll allow that to dry overnight. I'll come back to them, I'll remove it with a Q-tip or with a stiff bristled brush. And the stain should modulate the underlying layer rather heavily. It will, as the name suggests, stain the metallics underneath. I don't want that for the armor. Instead, the pin wash should be sufficient just to just to help define the lines of those armor, of the armor plate rather. After this, I will then be applying a matte varnish. I might apply a few decals here and there, apply a matte varnish on top, which will matte down the metallics, which is what we want. So when we reintroduce the highlights on top, we have that nice contrast between the metallic pigment and the matte locked-in shadows. If you were interested to see the full 4K video tutorial on this, I'm painting up this guy, and there'll be a special edition limited video where this guy's actually gunning down somebody on a base. Yeah, I still make those noises. Yeah, if you're interested in that, there'll be a full 4K tutorial on this and the Sons of Horus Legionnaire posted up last month, as well as every other single tutorial available for nearly 3 years. It's either 3 or 4 years. I can't. Time just skips by so quickly. I'm not sure whether this year counts either. And you get access for everything for $15, so the price of one takeaway per month, and you can be rich in the wealth of painting knowledge of you and your peers. Right, let's have a look at the comments before I shoot off. Right, what do we have? Right, Vladimir, teacher, have you ever... Oh, wait a minute, I've missed a few out. Right, Curse would be awesome, yeah. Teach, have you ever considered doing some Sons of Horus based around Davin incident? No. I'd like to see how you create a Nurgle atmosphere in the Marines. I'm sure I'll be doing some manner of more chaosified Marines later on. I think I'd prefer to keep that for more like a 40k setting, or maybe like a Maelstrom setting, something in the early 31st, 32nd millennium. But for this project, no, it'll be rather straight up and down, classic Legion schemes, uninterrupted, unfettered by chaos. So that's the thinking for this. Right, okay. Squidmar's baby screams all the time in his vids. Oh, okay, cool. Squidmar, okay. Sullivan Elliott, maybe a suggestion of doing an Alpha Legion Marine that has white scars as his base colour, and then chip in underneath the dude in Book 8. There's a couple of artists who've done that already to really nice effect. Okay, yeah, why not? Let's add that to the list. Chipping would show the Alpha Legion colours underneath. Yeah, that's a really cool idea. Cray Sheep sounds like a bird. Oh, right, okay. I'll see if I can get away with that. Sounds like a bird. Johan, I'm looking forward to them. Can see if you get some of that sweet plastic. Yeah. Ooh, live miles. Yep, indeed. So I'm hoping to introduce this more into the working schedule during the weeks. Hopefully, this was so successful, but why not? Right, Craig Voss. I'm looking forward to the return of Istvan. Yeah, so am I. Just started World Eater's Army, and this is perfect. Awesome. If you want to join in, hashtag return to Istvan. That's all you need to do to include yourself in the project. There's no like secret society. There's no exclusivity. None of that nonsense. If you want to join in, collect an Istvan 3 Legion and have the hashtag return to Istvan. That's it. Do you thin your metallic paints with water? Yes. However, if you live in other countries that are hotter, you might want to consider buying this stuff. It's Dark Star Molten Metals Metallic Thinner. I find this really good. It's nice to use alongside it, but for the most part, I just use water. I tend to use that stuff only when it's really hot and my paints dry out very quickly. Okay, if we get any more people in the stream, we may crash YouTube server. Yeah, yeah, for all of 20 people. I mean, it'd be flattering, but no, 20 people watch it. I all at once for a badly advertised live stream. I can't believe that. 2020 Ben not count. Yeah, I'm not counting this year. No way. Okay, World Eaters with that lovely white-red colour scheme. That is definitely coming up. 100% coming up. Righto, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this very impromptu, off-the-cuff live stream. It's gone so well. I'm feeling really positive about this. I'll look to introduce these more into my working schedule. I'll look to advertise them a bit more farther in advance. Yeah, a tabletop terrain as well. Yeah, I tend to do things that have a bit more character to them. Things with eyes, generally, I'm drawn to. I really like painting eyes or characterization. That's all. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining along. I'm going to jump off now. again, thank you very much. Right, you have great evenings, great days, great mornings, wherever you are in the world.